Most producers strive to keep the farm in the family, and when a transfer of business is desired, entity structuring is often part of the design, leaving producers looking for guidance on what types of leases and entities should be utilized. Roger McEowen with the Washburn University School of Law joins us now for today's Rural Money segment. Appreciate you being with us today. Let's start with reasonable compensation. How does one go about structuring salary arrangements for the corporation, shareholder, and employees?
Well, that's a good question, Tammy. And the IRS uses a number of factors to set what reasonable compensation is in the S corporation context. And of course, the incentive over the years has been to not take as much out of the corporation in compensation as you could in draws out of the corporation in order to avoid employment-related taxes. But if you go too low, IRS is going to require that to come up a bit. And some of the factors, what it boils down to is what would you have to pay someone else to do the job of that key person that we're trying to set compensation for? And there are a whole host of factors, but I think that is the key question that you have to answer.
So does Obamacare have any impact on the sale of interest in entities?
Well, it sure can, because starting in 2013, there's a 3.8% excise tax on passive income for individuals that are above a certain income threshold. So if you just have an ownership interest in the entity and it's not a managerial interest and you sell that interest, then you probably will have to pay not only the capital gain on that tax or on that interest, but you would also have to add to that the additional 3.8%. So what might be a 15% gain rate would turn into 18.8 federal, and then of course you have to add on any state-related taxes.
So any drawbacks to the S corporations?
Well, the S corporations are fairly popular with respect to professional service corporations such as doctors and lawyers and accountants. But in the ag context, we tend to much more prefer general partnerships for our operational entity because we can maximize farm program payment limitations that way. And, of course, MFP payments, that's a big deal with respect to that. And then own those individual interests in the partnership in some form of limited liability company so that we can manage risk that way. But S corporations still have a place. They're just not as popular in the farm context as they are in the professional services context.
All right, thank you so much for that information. That's Roger McEowen with Washburn University School of Law. Appreciate you joining us today.